Hi guys, it's been a minute. As you may or may not know, I hurt my shoulder last month and I haven't been able to draw much. So I've been just drawing with my left and trying to practice that. But I wanted to share with you today my sketchbook from August 2nd to September 22nd. This one took me a little bit longer than the previous one to complete, but I'm really proud of it, so without further ado, let's get started. I started with this quote by Bukowski, "Drink from the well of yourself and begin again." And it's a straight continuation of where I stopped last time. I drew my little figures. These are all Copic sketches, and all of these 3 characters plus the little frog girl, and I'm really happy with how this one turned out, and I love the stingrays. This is when Frog Girl first appeared, I think. She's so cute. I really love how the water turned out on this one. I love the lighting on this one, on the hand. I did take a reference of my own hands, so it's always easier to work when you have reference. This is also my own hand as reference. This one is from when I had that headache and I did that animation. This is from around that time. I put myself in my world also, but I'm headless in this case. I'm not too happy with this one. I think the reference was just too complex. But I do like some of the hatching that I did with the darker Copics, but I really don't like how I did the water in this one. This one was the first one that I put up as a print in my imprint shop. I'll leave the link down below, but I really loved this piece. This one is based on a piece by someone, I don't remember their name. I'll leave the name in the description, but I saw that their sketchbook spread with these colors, and I was like, oh, I want to make something with those colors. Of course, I changed some elements and added the faces, but the perspective that they did was so much better. This is another tarot card inspired, which is the Hierophant. It's based on black sand beaches in Iceland that they have these rock formations, and I thought that they reminded me of people wearing pope hats. This was a different way I was trying to make clouds, but I like it, but I don't think I did it again after this. I really enjoyed using this yellow, as you can tell. This piece is just okay. I don't really care for it much. I did something different. Instead of leaving the sun or as a negative space, I painted it in red. It's okay, I guess. I really like this piece, even though I put in the colorless blender too late on this, so that's why it kind of looks a little mottled, but I like it overall. I love the colors in this piece. I was trying to play with things without outlines so much. I left some of the outlines out of the clouds, and I like the result. This day was the only day I didn't draw in the morning. I usually do these first thing with breakfast, but this day we had gone to Tim's brother's house for a socially distant barbecue. We just stayed outside and ate, and we stayed far away, but I got home around 11, and it was almost midnight by the time I was doing this piece. However, I did it. I couldn't bear skipping a day, I guess, because I was in such a good role. So that's why it's like kind of really weird. I was so tired and it's poorly inked. I don't know, but there you go. The Hanged Man from Tarot. I was talking to my friend Maria Paula on Instagram, and she was telling me that my cards reminded her of tarot cards. And then I thought, ooh, the Hanged Man is such a good card, so I made it. And I really like how it turned out. This piece was based on a photograph, and I did use the negative space technique I used in the previous video for the leaves by doing like all the light colors and then adding a slightly darker shade and then adding a slightly darker shade and a slightly darker shade. And I really think it added enough depth, and I do love how I did the ground, but this reference was just so good that I had to do it justice. I'm gonna sneeze, give me a second. Excuse me. My friend Allie, she is also an artist. I'll link her Instagram down below. She's been going on these amazing camping adventures, and her sister took a picture of her on a cliff like this, and it really inspired me. And after I did this, I can't help but see Fox Girl as being kind of like an avatar for Allie. So after I did this piece, every time I draw Fox Girl, I think of her. This piece I tried by doing that galaxy technique, but with water instead, and so I picked watery colors, and I used the colorless blender a lot throughout this piece. That's why these edges are so nice, and it's because when the ink is still wet, you just put the colorless blender and it takes away the hard edges. So, but it has to be like you have a couple of seconds, so you have to be on top of it. And I did change the color of Bunny Girl's to make it seem like she was, overall this piece is quite successful. And then that reminded me of the galaxy and how much I loved making galaxies. So I started making a couple of galaxy pieces of like Bear Girl and the moon, and there's a vending machine because yes, there would be. And then Bunny Girl, and then I made a couple of light posts. But the galaxy technique is so much fun, and it's so easy to do. It just uses a lot of ink, but I'll show you guys how to do it sometime. Then this was a picture of a honeycomb. I don't really care for how Bear Girl's drawn, but I do like the bees. But she seems like an afterthought, like almost like a sticker. I don't know. And then I decided to change the sizes of things by making Fox Girl big and looking at this little hut. They were playing hide and seek because she was hiding under the water. I've seen several artists do versions of this, and I thought that I wanted to too. I do love the shading, the shadow that I put under the water here. It was a fun time. And this was based off a photo on Pinterest that I found that is basically this, but with a human being and different poses. But I loved the idea of the broken mirror reflecting, so I basically did this piece based on that photo. And this piece I was really happy with, but somehow there was something stuck, like a piece of chocolate or some crumbs of something got stuck here, and so I did my best. I don't know if you can see. I did my best to erase it, and then it didn't work, and then I tried to cover it with deleter ink, and then it didn't work, and then I used jelly pen and it didn't work. And I was so mad because I really loved this piece, but so I had to redo it because I was so frustrated with how it worked. See, this is the new version, and I love how like pristine and white the snow is. And here I was just so mad that I wasn't able to fix it, and like it's not proper white, the deleter ink's a little bit ivory, and it's just like a grrr. But I think I did it justice by trying to copy it. I really like all the greens in this piece. This was fun to do. Again, like negative space, but instead of negative I did positive, so I painted all that light yellow, and then I added more layers of dark and dark, but like pulling it forward instead of pushing it back, if that makes sense. Them going downhill with field dandelions. This is gonna be my new I don't know, like profile pic, I think, because I think this is also my current phone background, because it's a representative of my priorities in drawing right now. Is just these four. There's a fifth one that's like been kind of appearing in my mind, but she hasn't shown herself fully, so I'm waiting. And I guess I can't because my shoulder, but when I'm ready, I think she'll come out. This was a photo of an actual place. I added faces to the Rocky Mountains. That's one of my favorite things, is to look at nature and find faces in it. So like sometimes I'll be going on walks and I'll be looking at trees and it looks like, oh, that tree wants to give me a hug because it has a face right there and it has its arms spread wide. Am I crazy? Maybe I'm crazy, but it's something I enjoy doing, and so I want to go here. I don't remember where it is. Pinterest though. I drew her on a nest, and then as I was gonna paint the sky, I decided to make a yellow, and I love this yellow. It's yellow 04 on the Copic marker, and it's just my favorite yellow. Oh, I can't tell you guys how much I love this piece. It's the colors I picked and the way I shaded her outfit, it was just like such a success. I was like so happy that day. And then I maybe should have made the clouds go in the same perspective as the window, but I didn't, and that's okay. This is also based on another piece by another artist, and I saw several different versions of this piece, and I was like, I'll just make my own. Again, Pinterest, I don't remember who the artist was. If I find them, I'll put the credit down in the description. I loved this piece, and I loved that I added the two moons, and it was such like a pin in the neck to get it just right, and it's still a little bit off, but overall I like the colors that I picked for this piece. This is based on a piece by Don Ken, who makes little post-it inking drawings of monsters, and he did this rainy piece. So I thought of my girls going in the same way of rain, so that's why I did all the hatching with a dark blue Copic. So these are all with the Copic brush nib, but it was so fun to get those really thin lines with that. And then I painted the trees with a negative technique I mentioned before. And this is the last page of my sketchbook. I wanted to instill a sense of calm. This is based on a reference from the Kiki delivery service art book by Studio Ghibli, and that scene of Kiki laying in the field, the dandelions listening to the radio, and the clouds. It was just so good. I am really proud of how I did this gradient on the sky, and I love the way I did the clouds. This is a good piece to end the sketchbook on, and this was on September 22nd, was the last day on the sketchbook. And here are all the colors I used in this particular sketchbook. Go ahead and pause and take a screenshot if you want to make this your palette. But yeah, these are all the colors, with the exception of a couple that are from the previous sketchbook that they dried while I was doing this sketchbook, and I couldn't find the ink refills. However, then you can just look at the previous sketchbook tour. But I really like how it feels like a cohesive color palette. I don't know. See that yellow 04 that I love, and this is the yellow green 21. It's just such a good base color for other yellows. This is like a great color palette. Just these. And I try to organize them by like complementary colors, or colors that, like, if I wanted, I could just make a piece using these three colors, or these three, or these three, or you know, these two and these two. So this is a little bit organized by my brain capacity, but yep. That was our sketchbook tour, and I hope you enjoyed it. Smash that like button if you did, and leave me a comment. I love hearing you guys. So I'll catch you guys next time.